Even though TikTok Shop's only been around for a certain, under 2 years, the platform is evolved rapidly, but the affiliate strategy still remains the same. And what we see at the moment on the platform, at least 55% of revenue is coming from affiliate sales. So with that being said, creators aren't just influencers, right? They are an extension of your sales team. In the next 25 minutes, I'm going to go about how you can go about unlocking TikTok Shop's affiliates for scalable growth. So the main objective is, by the end of this presentation, I'm going to give you the exact playbook that we're using for brands right now that allows us to scale with affiliates and allows you to get immense growth on the platform. So I just want to start with in terms of saying that the game has changed. So you used to, or basically you still kind of, when you're running your Meta ads or your Google ads, your main aim is to sell directly to your audience, right? But with TikTok Shop, and probably going into more social commerce as well, your aim is now to sell to your affiliates first by winning them over, and they will do the heavy lifting by selling to your audience. So when you start to think in that mindset, it becomes a whole lot easier. So I just want to walk down memory lane when it comes to the affiliate the timeline. So again, you can kind of see where we've kind of started. And again, it's funny saying this because, like I say, it's under 18 months, but so much has happened. And when you see this, you can see if you're kind of doing stuff that's outdated or if you are ahead of the curve. So, like I say, in the early days, manual outreach used to drive results. It was crazy. So what we used to do was we basically would get someone in the team to basically send out 10 to 20 messages per day to affiliates. They would respond, funnily enough. We would send them a sample. They'll create good content, and brands would literally sell out overnight. First mover advantage on the platform was great in terms from this perspective. Then came around outreach bots. We created an outreach bot back in January 2024. This allowed us to scale. So rather than having team members, VAs, this was more cost effective. We could now scale and send out 1,000 messages per day. So again, we're getting in front of more eyeballs, more affiliates, and again, it allowed us to scale our brands on the platform a lot quicker. But then guess what happens? Saturation. Because what happens is more sellers are joining the platform, more agencies, and again, everyone starts to know about outreach bots. So now, affiliates are getting bombarded with over 300 plus messages per day. So I don't know about you, but if I had 300 emails per day, I wouldn't respond to any of them. So it's the same kind of thing with affiliates. They start to get bombarded. They don't know who they want to respond to and basically just blank a lot of the people. So then what happens? The power shift becomes. So rather than the brands being able to have the power and saying, okay, look, we want to work with you. Now the affiliates can choose who they want to work with, right? So imagine if you're brand A and you basically have let's say a creatine gummies brand, you've got no sales, no reviews on the platform, and brand B has got maybe 50,000 sales on TikTok Shop, loads of reviews. This creator now can choose who to work with, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to probably work for the brand that's obviously got sales numbers already. So then with that now, paywalls. So the top affiliates now have moved to paid deals. So again, we're kind of going down that influencer model. And if you start to understand this and start to put budgets aside for this, again, this will get you ahead of the game because you want to pay creators, retain them, and obviously they'll create good content. And then with that, we're now into kind of the restrictions. New sellers are faced with tiered TikTok Shop limits. And if you don't know how that looks, this is how it is. So basically, what TikTok Shop does is all based on your GMB, which is called gross merchandise value, aka revenue, and they look at that in the past 30 days, and it's basically based on your 30 days affiliate sales. So if you're starting off on the platform, you get like 1,000 message starter pack, which is great, you'd think, but that runs out pretty quickly. So you've got to figure out how you can get to at least up to 2,000 sales, which basically is just one sale, and that will allow you to then reach out to 2,000 creators, up to 20,000 followers, right? So that may sound good, but your aim is you want to kind of get to this goal here of basically unlimited for both connections. So the remainder of this kind of presentation, I'm going to go and show you how you can go from having 0 sample requests per day to scaling up to getting 300 plus creators reaching out to you, wanting to promote your brand. And not just any creators, because again, it's not quantity, it's all about quality as well, right? So if you look here, for example, again, this is actually a brand that we work with right now. We get creators who have done 250K in the last 30 days, 140K, good post rates, good followers. So again, this is what you kind of want to have for your brand. So you want to start strong with creators, and I've just put this little screenshot here. This is basically the top 10 brands on TikTok Shop right now to give you an idea of the volume of what they're doing. So if you look at the top there, you've got Golly Nutrition. I kind of call them the unicorn of TikTok Shop because they launched back in August. They came out with crazy incentives, crazy commissions, hence why they're doing like 1.3 million a week on TikTok Shop right now. But if you look at the column there, 41.2K affiliates, right? So that's the kind of scale if you want to kind of become a top 10 brand minimum on the platform. But then you look at number 10, Tarte Cosmetics. They started pretty much when TikTok Shop launched. And again, they got 46.4K affiliates. So they're the kind of levels. So when it comes to how many samples per month, you can either be testing, and I would say anything less than 200 samples per month, you're probably not going to move the needle, right? And if you're aggressive, 1,000 samples per month. With that being said, you don't want to be sending out samples to anyone. You still want to have the quality there. So it's all about getting that balance, because what you tend to see is when we audit accounts on a weekly basis, some brands will be sending out a lot of samples, thinking they're getting a lot of volume, but then that's where the kind of relationship ends. And then when you see the content that comes back, literally the creator literally just unboxing it there and then, they can't pronounce the brand's name correctly, and guess what? It makes no sales. So before actually launching your affiliate campaign, it all starts with your product, right? So the more of these you can hit, the more chance your product is going to do well on the platform and affiliates are going to want to promote you. So is your brand and product unique? Is it demonstratable? Does it solve a problem? Is it visually appealing? And is easy to understand in 3 seconds? If you compare them with any of these 3 here, or the more you can do, the better. For example, TikTok-only products work so well on the platform right now. So imagine you've got a product that's only available on TikTok, and then your customer goes to Amazon, they go to your website and they can't find it. Guess what? That FOMO is going to kick in. They're going to come back to TikTok and buy. Variety packs, they work so well as well in terms, especially if you're in the food and beverage niche. I kind of call it like the try before you fully commit, because again, they can try all the different flavors before obviously committing solely to your brand. And then trending, again, if you can jump on any trends, we did this recently with a few of our UK brands. Black soap was trending, they had the product, went aggressive with it, and did really well. So if you've got any products that are trending in any time of the year, definitely jump on that. So now we've figured out that, now we're going to talk about what's in it for your affiliates. So these are the 4 things you've got to kind of think of. So priority, high commission is a must right now, okay? If you can't be doing this at a minimum, honestly, it might not make sense to even launch on the platform. But with high commission, it's got to make sense to your brand, right? Flat fee commission and retainers, these two, like I say, this is where it comes to the pay to play. So the flat fee plus commission means that you could pay a creator maybe $50 to $100 to post a piece of content, and then obviously paying the commission on top. It works well because, again, obviously they're getting a bit of skin in the game before obviously committing to actually work with you long term. Retainers, again, works really well because, again, you can start to get creators to maybe post 5 times, 10 times, 30 times plus a month for your brand. And the reason why this works well, if you find good retainer creators, is because if they're posting multiple pieces of content, they understand your brand more, they obviously want to be a part of that journey. And again, because they're posting a lot more content, the social proof becomes a lot more relevant as well. And the way we kind of work out retainers for our creators and our brands, we basically look at the creators' GMV they've done across TikTok Shop for the last 28 days. We divide that by how many posts they've made, and then whatever that number comes out, let's say that's $500, that looks basically like they're making $500 per post. So as long as we can pay under that, so if we get creators to do 30 posts a month, $100 each, 3K, we know in theory that if we're paying $100 per video and they're making $500 per video, then obviously we're going to be profitable, right? So again, always look at the data when you do these kind of deals. And then finally, committing to ad budget to amplify their content. So I know a lot of brands always say to me, so look, what we have to pay them retainer, we have to pay them commission, and now we have to spend to actually amplify their content as well. Unfortunately, that is how TikTok Shop works. So you've got to educate yourself around that. The great thing with TikTok Shop now is, though, that what they've done is you can basically lower the commission you give to the creators when you're actually spending ads on them. So now we're going to talk about how we go about finding the right creators. And if you do all of this right, I guarantee you will start to get great results on the platform. So the first one is looking at your current network of creators. So again, depending on how long you've been doing your brand, how long you've been online for, you can obviously look at your Instagram, look at your TikTok, anyone you've seen to in the past. They should be your first point of call where you kind of go to because they already know about the brand, right? So the more of these people you can find, the better, because it's going to give you that head start. We use a platform called Refunnel. So again, this allows you to basically go and find any pieces of content that are tagged or hashtagged with your product or branding, and you can basically then communicate with them within the platform and try to move them over to TikTok Shop. And of course, you still got TikTok Shop Seller Center. It does still work, it just doesn't work at scale. And again, you can still use bots to do this, but again, it's not as effective. But the great thing, obviously, still with the TikTok Shop platform, you can still see every creator's GMV, you can see their engagement rate, you can see all this within the platform. So again, it does give you an idea in terms of what creator is going to be a good fit for your brand. And then using third-party tools. So again, this allows you to streamline your affiliate outreach. We use tools like Fastmars, Calodata, EchoTick. There's so many out there right now. But the great thing with this is you can go and look at your competitors. You can see who's doing great in terms of performance. You can download that list. You can then put that into an outreach bot, and you can start to reach out to them. And a nice little trick here is if you're going after competitors, creators, you can then straight away start that communication saying, look, I know you're promoting for brand X. We want to pay you a higher commission than you're getting, because the great thing with Fastmos, it shows you how much commission they're getting paid, and we want to pay you a fee to pay. And guess what? Money talks, right? If you can offer them more than they're currently getting, the likelihood is they're going to want to work with you. And then this one here, affiliate groups. This is not talked about enough right now. So what an affiliate group is basically a community of affiliates who are learning about TikTok Shop, trying to get started on the platform, and they get trained by top affiliates. So there's many of these groups out there right now. What I would say is do your due diligence, because some are great, some are not. So again, it's all about looking and finding which is going to be the right fit for your brand. But you've got everything from generic ones, you've got groups that are doing like just in the pet category, for example, in the older kind of category. So again, it's a really good way to kind of find this and get that initial boost on the platform. And then this one here, turning your fans into your sales army. So whether you've got an email list of customers or a Facebook group, this here is a brand we onboarded 2 weeks ago. They're Miley, they do cosmetics. We was onboarding them and I said to them, okay, do you have any other assets, any other groups? They told me they've got a private group of 15.7K members, right? These are people who have bought the product, they're posting about them on other platforms. So just imagine if a small percentage of these you could convert over to TikTok Shop, right? That's an initial surcharge of customers and, creatives that you can get straight from the off. And then from then onwards, you need to start building creative relationships. Like I say, you don't want this to just be transactional. So with that, communication is key. You want to keep them informed. You want to, like say, set expectations. You want to announce when you're doing certain flash deals, coupons, sales, anything like that, and keep them engaged. You want to also show them that you care, right? So acknowledge their efforts, offer feedback, celebrate wins, and that's the main thing for it. Educate them. So again, share best practices, share them content that's working. And then I always recommend brief your creators. And don't get me wrong, all creators are probably not going to look at this, but again, it gives you an initial kind of idea. So again, if you've got top hooks that you're using, just send them that. Deliverables, ideas. So again, they're not all going to see this, but again, it just keeps them engaged and gets them on board in terms of what you're looking for from a content perspective. And then affiliate incentives. So again, a lot of brands right now will do incentives like this to offer ridiculous kind of things like 1.3 million in cash or ridiculous cars. So again, I recommend doing stuff like this. It does take a lot of work and it might not work straight away. And trust me, you don't need to go as elaborate as these here. You can do simple bonuses and stuff like that. But the more you start to do, again, it keeps the creators engaged. It keeps them on board in terms of what you're doing as a brand as well.